Rice apparently has 2 clubs ahead of Chelsea that want to get him for £70 million in the summer. Matt Law confirms it on a podcast. Number 2, when it comes to Christian Pulisic's future, right? He's meant to be leaving Chelsea in January. That's not true, but Arsenal and United and Newcastle are actively chasing him, trying to persuade the US men's national team's star to join them. Oh yeah, and Belgium, well, they're having a fiasco of their own. They're imploding. A meeting that was meant to be internal, private, has leaked into the open to the point where Thibaut Courtois has come out and said, if I find out who leaked this, they will never play for the national team again. Let's break this down. It's a great video. You're going to enjoy it. Welcome to the Kavkas View, guys, and in today's video, we are going to be having a great time because we got 3 juicy stories to get our teeth into, and you're all going to enjoy it. But before we start with that, I need you lot to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel because it's very important for the channel's growth, development, and the fact that we've been growing faster than ever before is amazing, right? And we want to continue that trajectory, and without you, it's not possible. In the pinned comment is my Instagram. Go and follow me on that because you can DM me, I'll respond, and during the games, I usually like to have a chat with people while I'm watching it. So it just builds a good community. It's great. But let's move on to the Declan Rice story first. So the London is Blue podcast is an amazing podcast where they usually get Matt Law. And right, look, Matt Law has very interesting views. But I don't like Matt Law for his views. I like him for his content on the sense that he knows what he's saying because he's an ITK. He is an in the know. He definitely gets fed information from certain players or some people that work within the club. Because there's no way this man consistently gives us reliable information time after time after time. Yes, there was the incident with Rudiger where Rudiger and the club are saying otherwise. There were people coming out with conflicting stories. It was a big fiasco, but Matt Law 9 out of 10 times knows what he's talking about. So when he tells us that Chelsea are going to match whatever fee there is bid for Declan Rice, they're going to pay the exact same fee, right? £70 million. They're going to match it this summer. It's going to be up to Declan Rice to pick where he wants to go. 2 clubs are ahead of Chelsea. They're putting in the groundwork, and he says, I can't tell you who it is. Guys, this is very interesting because there are 2 sides of me and that I want to take it 2 ways, right? Number 1, Declan Rice has become a player that is valued. Declan Rice is a player that is going to attract demand left, right, and centre. Is a player that actively will have the top clubs in the Premier League chasing. So, which leaves me with a question, who are they? Arsenal have been linked with him, Liverpool have been linked with him, and Manchester United have been linked with him. Now let's break it down one by one. Fabinho still exists. Whether Liverpool are going to be ready to quit on that project, I don't know. Manchester United just signed Casemiro. I don't see them signing another DM. And Arsenal, they have Partey and Xhaka, and they have a lot of faith in Lokonga to come through and develop. Whether Declan Rice and 70 million is the way they're going to go, I don't know. But what else am I thinking? I'm thinking that this could easily be Matt Law's way of doing, like, sparking additional information into the hemisphere, and all of a sudden Chelsea like, oh my god, we might lose out on this player. This isn't a foregone conclusion. We need to hurry up and put a bid in. Look, what do we know? We know Matt Law loves to protect Mason Mount. He loves it, right? And Mason Mount is best friends with Declan Rice. I might be reaching here, right? So I might be going way out on a limb. But will it blow your mind, right? Whether either one of their representation literally said, look, do Declan this favor. We always give you information, but allegedly, we'll always give you whatever you need to know. So help us out. Put it into the hemisphere, put it into the Twitter sphere, put it into Chelsea's hemisphere that we have other offers. So unless you buckle up and put the money on the table and bring me to Stamford Bridge this summer, I'm going somewhere else. And it's basically a scare tactic. I don't know what to think about it, guys, because at this moment in time, we're going to get a lot of information that comes out. Like, this information is very interesting. He is a credible journalist. I'm going to give him that. Whether his views are very biased for a select few individuals, we're not going to get into that. But it's something that we can take away. It's interesting to think about. So Christian Pulisic has been having a great World Cup according to everyone around me, right? And even I've said he's had a very good World Cup. I think he's a better player than he's showing because I actually think there's a decent player in Christian Pulisic. So calling it great is disrespectful to the level of talent that he... But this is where we need to talk about it. Manchester United, Arsenal and Newcastle are all being linked with the star, and they all want to make it a move in January. Rumours have it that Christian Pulisic has no intention of leaving Chelsea this January and wants it to be a summer move. Why would this be a factor? Number 1, I think this is a factor because Christian Pulisic sees that Hakim Ziyech is going to be leaving. He sees that there's no Callum Hudson-Odoi, there's no Timo Werner. there is a direct run for him to break into the Chelsea squad. Number two, these rumors potentially could be fake, because I don't see Christian turning down these rumors, right? I don't see him turning down on Arsenal. I don't see him turning down on Manchester United. Maybe even in Newcastle. I don't see it, because these are top clubs that are going to be competing for cups, competing for trophies, European slot, right? So why would he be turning it down when, if you look at it, his pool of clubs to go to is very sparse. He is a top player, right? A good player. So the fact that there aren't many big clubs that want him right now. I don't see Bayern wanting him. I don't see none of the big Spanish giants wanting him. Juventus, they can't want him. They literally broke. AC Milan maybe could want him. So we need to be honest. That's why I think he's going to be staying till the summer, and then he'll reevaluate his situation. Maybe he's already broken into the team or not. Another thing that people have been talking about rigorously is, why are Hakim Ziyech and Pulisic performing at the World Cup but not in the Chelsea top? I've got three reasons why. Number one, the players have the systems built around them. So they play with no fear, and they know that they're going to be playing week in and week out. And that's the second one. They play with no fear because they know they're the star talisman of the team. No matter what happens, they're going to be playing. Pulisic knows he can drop out a 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10, and he'll still start the next game because they have enough faith in him and they believe in him that he'll come out of the rut. Same with Hakim Ziyech. And the final one, a lot of you are not going to like this. It's contract year, people. How many times have you been at work and you know you're either going to go in a disciplinary or you literally want a pay rise, so you step up your game, you start working harder, you start doing the extra little things to make yourself look like a star boy, and all of a sudden you get your paycheck and then you're like, do I really want to continue with that effort? Sadly, that's the way the human beings work, right? No one gets more of something and then goes, you know what, now I need to keep maintaining that level of effort. No, it doesn't work like that. So we need to be honest, we need to be realistic, and I think the fact that both of them are coming towards the end of their career, they're trying to work like at Chelsea, they're both trying to find the next move. That's one of the reasons why their level has increased. A non-Chelsea story is about Belgium and their little turn, because this is an entertaining story. This is one that football fans will all love, and it's got a lot of old Chelsea heads around it, right? So to say Belgium have had a horrible start to the World Cup is not an understatement. They got lucky against Canada. They won it with a Michy Batshuayi goal. They absolutely got humiliated against Morocco. And in the dressing room, apparently there was a massive bust-up. Reports have been coming out from Belgium, from L'Equipe in France, saying that Eden Hazard and Vertonghen had a very big, almost a scrap. They had a lot of war of words and they called it an altercation, allegedly. Then there was rumors coming out that Kevin De Bruyne and Thibaut Courtois aren't on very good terms. They hardly speak. There was additional rumors coming out that Trossard and Hazard aren't on talking terms either. They don't really get along. They're both angry at each other, and it's not a good dynamic in the team. And you start looking at the little stories that are coming out. These stories are adding up. Roberto Martinez threw a little gathering where all the players gathered together and they had a little air out. They're trying to build camaraderie. They're trying to win that final game against Croatia because this is their final chance. And for me, these stories that are coming out, they're real. I don't care what Eden Hazard said. Eden Hazard came out today and said, do I look like I want to pick a fight with Vertonghen? Am I stupid? He's a lot bigger than me. Like, he'll knock him out. Obviously, he would. But I believe that there was a lot of statements made. And Eden also confirmed that he called him slow and said that the defenders are slow. And guess what? He said Vertonghen agreed, and that's a fact. And then Courtois came out and said, whoever leaked this, if we find out who it is, I promise you, they will never play for the national team again. And this is very interesting, because players aren't that defensive unless they're hiding. A lot was said, a lot more was occurring than we know, and the players just don't want to tell us because it's none of our business in reality. But to say nothing happened is, But now it's my opinion, and my opinion, I think a lot of people are being too harsh on the Belgian national team. Look, a lot of people are saying they missed their slot, they didn't win a World Cup, they didn't win a Euros, they're failures. They got to a semi-final of a World Cup where they lost to Kylian Mbappe, Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante, Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud's France. The France team that was a generational France team that has multiple star players that in history we're going to look back on and say, you know what? That France team was elite. They lost to them in the semi-final. On the route to that semi-final, they came back from 2-0 down against Japan and made it 3-2. And then they beat Brazil and knocked out Brazil. And they got to the semi-final. If they were on the other side of the bracket, they would have got all the way to the final. Because they beat England twice in that tournament. I believe they would have beat Croatia. A lot of people don't want to accept that. We can't be judging players' careers based on 7 games. It's not fair. The one that people should be annoyed with is the one when they lost to Belgium in the last 8 of the Euro. That's the one you should be annoyed with. But even then, I think Eden Hazard highlighted throughout his time that he carried this team. I think Kevin De Bruyne can be disappointed with his international career. A lot of these players are very good players, and I think it's very harsh for us to sit here and be hyperly critical. It's an old team. They lack defenders with pace and they lack a midfield. That's their issue. Like, if you want to start blaming people, you need to be blaming the Chielemans, the Onanas, for not developing into better players, not developing into good squad depth, because they still have quality. They've got the best goalkeeper in the world. They've got Kevin De Bruyne, who's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world. You've got an Eden Hazard who still looks half decent when you give him the opportunity. Romelu Lukaku gets you goals. That's the one thing he does get you. So we can't really be sitting here and saying they're a failure of a team, because I think it's very harsh. But this is my views. I want to hear yours. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup.